Yeah. I see people are telling me that. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hopefully, there's no issues now. Hopefully, you can hear everything now. I think some people were saying they couldn't hear what was happening beforehand, but just give me a thumbs up if you can hear everything because I'm certainly talking, as you can see. Now, for my people on the audio side of things, let me say what's up to Ashley. She writes, "Good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Happy Monday." Brenda writes, "Hello from Fairfield." Ms. D writes, "Greetings." Sharp writes, "Good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Welcome to the first Monday of August." Damn, school's right around the corner. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. CG Dub writes, "Good morning, Choppers. Nate, my daughter loves Comfort Station and Tiki Tiki Bang Bang. Is Tiki Tiki Bang Bang a drink or is that a place? I'm excuse my ignorance, but yeah, Comfort Station is dope, man. It's just a nice little. Is it fair to call it a hole in the wall? Kinda, it is, but like I said, Walnut Hills has some great things happening. Like I don't know when it was. It was like 3 or 4 years ago when I first kicked off CDM. I got a chance to meet with the then president of the Walnut Hills Development Corporation. Their offices are over there on I think it's over there on McMillan. On McMillan. And pardon me. And I was I got a chance to walk with him through the whole People's Corner area. And as we walked through, he was telling us about the plans for People's Corner. This is like 4 or 5 years ago. And let's just say, man, there's some amazing things happening over on People's Corner in Walnut Hills. I'm happy to hear it. I'm happy to hear it and see about it. It's going to be great for the city. I'm not happy in terms of the displacement, but I'm glad to see that people are putting things together. And you got a lot of good, smart, intelligent people in the city of Cincinnati doing a lot of big things, a lot of big things. So props to all of them. So give me a thumbs up. We good now? Thank you. I don't know what it was, home. Actually, it's something that keeps happening. I don't know what it is. On my end, everything is looking good. I can see my audio waves. So thank you for telling me that. I really appreciate it. But let's say, let me get back to the cover story I want to share with you. This may or may not be on your radar screen, but this happened over the weekend. So her name is Raven Saunders, and the IOC is currently conducting an investigation into this gesture. This gesture. She did this on the podium at the Olympics. And now the IOC has all these new rules about gestures, ever since John Carlos and them and Tommy Smith, they changed the rules. You can't do any disrespectful gestures and things like that, especially on the podium. And this sister, again, her name is Raven Saunders. She's a U.S. athlete. She won the silver medal in the shot put. And the shot put is hard. I did a little bit of track and field when I was in high school, man. I did the 200 meter. I think we did the 400 meter relay, something like that, 800 meter relay. And I did the discus and the shot put. And the shot put is all about power and technique, all about power and technique. That is not easy. So for her to place and get a medal in the Tokyo Games, that's big. Give her props. Give her flowers. In fact, she brought her own. They're in her arm hands right now. But her reason why I think is worthy of a little bit of time, if not more, this morning. And I want to get your thoughts about it. You might agree or disagree. I don't know. But essentially, she said she did it for solidarity, for racial solidarity, and also to raise awareness about Black mental health issues, which has been in particular on the stage because of the decision made by Simone Biles, who, by the way, sidebar, more information, she actually is going to compete in the Olympics. I believe she's going to do the bar. I believe she's going to do one of the Olympic events, Simone Biles. So if you're a Simone Biles fan, and you're like, damn, I just wanted to see sis in the games. You're going to see her in the games. She's actually going to be in the games. Oh, thank you for my milkshake during the show. Thank you, son. Kind of looks like a milkshake, actually. Look, can you see this? This is what you do. This is what you got to do when you got a 6-year-old. Look at this. This is my milkshake. Thank you, son. That's what you got to say when your son do stuff like that. You got to go with it. You can't put that flame out. That's funny. That's real funny. Don't get caught on cam now. They're gonna see all the things. I do want some tea, black woman. Um, here's my water. Well, it's some water bottles in there too. Sorry about this, all this behind the scenes stuff, but this is what you get these days. Actually, there's some more water in there. Anyway, as I was saying, you got to roll with the punches. This is the life I said I wanted, so it's what we doing. It is what it is. Anyway, quote, let them try and take this medal. This is what Raven Saunders said over the weekend and on social media. So ain't nobody taking this. If you want to find her on social media, you can find her on Twitter. Give me one shot. She said, "I'm running across the border, even though I can't swim." That is good stuff right there. But again, she says she did it to raise awareness about the LGBTQ community, African Americans, Black people around the world, and those struggling with mental health. And hey, listen, if she gonna take the time for her platform, then we should take the time at least to acknowledge it and have whatever conversation is relevant to it. But that's what it is. So Wakanda forever. LGBTQ community, African Americans, Black people around the world, and those struggling with mental health. And you know what? I can get down by that. She said that she was inspired and she wants to inspire and motivate all those individuals. So thank you for that, Raven. Appreciate it. I feel inspired. Keep doing that Black excellence, sis, at the Olympics. How many people are really watching the Olympics? I don't know. Maybe I'm not patriotic, man, but I ain't watched none of it at all. Not the basketball. I think the most of the Olympics I watched, quite honestly, family, was this morning. It was like 5:30 a.m. this morning. I watched a little bit of the ping pong championship. Gold medal was between two Chinese competitors. It was super interesting, man. Like, how they do that? Like, they be flicking it? I'm like, how you do that? How you get that good at ping pong? Ping pong is one of the hardest. That game is so damn hard to pick up. And these motherfuckers be like, and they do flick it. And then when they be serving it, like this. I'm like, how in the hell? But I guess it's the excellence of the human spirit, right? I guess you can do anything you want to when you put your time and money to it. But that's the most as I've watched. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm not a good American. Oh boy. We good now? Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you for being here. Listen, y'all could be anywhere in the world. Y'all rocking with me this morning. I'm super privileged. I'm super blessed. Like I said, no one man should have all this fun. I'm having more fun than any man should really ever have, quite honestly. Life is good. Life is really, really good. Got it in every day over the weekend. I must admit, I fell off just a little bit for a couple weeks there. I fell off. When you're trying to work out, sometimes you just need to be motivated. I'm looking for a trainer. The wife suggested this to me a little while ago. I was like, I don't need no trainer. What you mean get a trainer? Then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I do need that, just to spur me and motivate me. So I got like 3 different trainers that I'm going to be checking out, just because I want to just push the body, push the body, push the body. So I fell off just a little bit, not completely, but fell out in terms of my weight lifting routine. Everything else I kept in place, but now I'm feeling motivated again. Feels great. Feels great to be alive. I had a beautiful Sunday. Had a beautiful Saturday and a beautiful Friday. Hope you did as well. All right, here's my number. If you want to chime into the show, 513-873-7134. All right, let's shout out a few things here over the weekend on Friday with the Is It Just Me podcast kicking off. I thought it was a strong show from Donnie. She talked about a myriad of topics. Again, if you're into interesting conversations, strong, informed opinions, mixed with a dose of intelligent humor, check out the Is It Just Me podcast on Fridays at 12:30. Now, of course, this past week we did it on Thursday because Donnie had some ish going on, and she didn't want to miss the show. I'm always down. I want to put as much content out as possible. So we did it on Thursday. You might have missed it. If you did, it is worth your time to circle back around and support some fresh voices, some independent media, and black women in the media. Are you taking it back? Oh, okay. You drinking your milkshake? Okay. On Sunday morning, you had Straight Talk Live with Edna Howe. I thought Edna had a strong show. She had a sister on named Maya McClendon, who was like a big time volleyball player, sister. And her family has ties to Cincinnati. I didn't know this, but her father is Roger McClendon, who was a UC basketball player, and her sister's doing dope stuff, like all athletes, all black excellence. And she talked about the mind of an athlete and some of the things that she's working on. She's an entrepreneur as well. I thought it was a very interesting conversation. And then on Sunday, you had Melanin Insights at 5:30. You had Melanin Insights with Britt and Cass, and they're finding their own. A really interesting conversation about the baby and his homophobic remarks. A lot of people have been talking about he actually has been losing some opportunities because of his homophobic remarks, and homophobia in hip hop got a long history. Homophobia, if you want to call it that, in hip hop have a long history. And Lollapalooza canceled the baby's performance after his comments. He posted something on, I believe it was his Instagram, his IG page, basically saying that it doesn't translate well and things like that, and yada yada yada. And we have to wait and see if it's gonna have more of an impact. He put out a video in which he kind of halfway apologized and things like that. But I mean, I thought the cast made an interesting point when she said, these rappers, man, they can say all kind of stuff about women and promote all kinds of lifestyles, but as soon as they say something about the gay community, then people start to really, they start to deal with some consequences and some backlash. And the way I look at it is, listen, if they set it up like that, if I'm talking about, the gay community, and they got that kind of leverage, if they organize enough like that, then hey, it is what it is. We should do so much. Heterosexuals, black folks, whoever, if you find yourself offended, you should be as organized as they are so you can put some real pressure on them. So he also said some stuff about gay men and HIV, which I thought was outside of the realm of logic a bit, but HIV, I thought we was beyond that. I thought we was beyond looking at HIV as a gay thing. You know what I'm saying? I thought we was way beyond that, but I guess some people aren't. But the baby is, what is he, 20 something? He's in his 20s. So he's a relatively young dude. So he got some room to grow and some time to grow up. Maybe that's what'll happen. I don't know. We'll have to find out. 513-873-7134. Good, 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 good. We good now? We Gucci? Great, great, great. Locally, I thought this was interesting. I thought over the weekend, this was actually late last week. Council member Bessie Sunderman had a public safety forum in Over the Rhine. It's actually happened on Thursday. I didn't get a chance to talk about it. It's being reported about it now. I've been watching these community conversations. WVXU is reporting about 10 people showed up. I'm looking at the image right now. It looks about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 11, 12 people, maybe somewhere around there at the Ensemble Theater. And Betsy Sunderman was there talking about and getting some input from the community. And you know what? I think getting input from the community is a great thing, but I stand by what I said. I mean, what else needs to be said? You know what I'm saying? I think you got to take that community input in, but gun violence is plaguing cities all across the country. Gun violence has been an issue in Cincinnati since as long as I've been old enough to even read the newspaper. It ain't going nowhere because we haven't really dealt with the root cause of the issues. And the roots are going to be much more difficult to deal with. It's going to be a long-term solution, but everybody's looking for a Band-Aid. And some of these politicians, and this is just my opinion about Bessie Sunderman, I could be wrong about this, but I just feel like it's just all window dressing. Here we are, what is it, August now. So you got August, September, October, November. You got 4 months into the election. And this is something that can make you look good right before the election, like you really care. But WVXU has a very interesting article that was written by Becca Costello. Thank you, Becca Costello. And there's some quotes in here that, if they are accurately attributed to Bessie Sunderman, are worthy of another look. And it starts with this. City Councilman Bessie Sunderman says many of the crowdsourced solutions she's heard to reduce violent crime will take a long time to implement, but she's looking for immediate options as well. And there are no short-term immediate options that are going to deal with this. That's number one. We got to get this shit out of our head in Cincinnati. There are no immediate band-aids that's going to make a hill of any kind of a difference when it comes to gun violence in the city of Cincinnati. I don't believe it, because if there were, we would have already did it. The root causes of the violent crime in Cincinnati. I'm telling you, they're gonna see it all this morning. Okay, you good? What you looking for? Is there college in here? Okay, thank you. You know, I think I might do a little bit of honey. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm splurging today. I can't have a little. She look at me like, yeah, that was some honey. Some organic honey. Some raw, unfiltered organic honey. She give me this look like, really? You doing that? Like I'm eating some chicken wings or something. Can I get a little honey? Thank you. Thank you. You thought I was joking. Raw, raw organic unfiltered honey. You thought I was joking. I'm serious. Just a little bit of honey. That's good. That's all I need. Damn, brother can't get no honey? Anyway, so back to what I was saying. So there are no short-term solutions, in my opinion. Maybe I'm missing them. Are there short-term, immediate solutions to reducing gun violence? If there were, we would have came up with them by now. They're all medium to long-term solutions, all of them. Cincinnati's going to have to invest in our future when it comes to this. It's going to take some time, and we're going to have to deal with whatever happens between there and there. This is what it is. That's it. He just said, look at this cookie. It's like I'm not even doing the show. It's like I'm not even doing the show. Let me see. Let me see. There's some talk about activities for children, things like that. But then there's a quote here near the end of the article. Quote, this is from Bessie Sunderman, again, allegedly. I wasn't there, but this was being attributed to her. I would like to give all of these organizations money, but what are we taking away from the city? Question mark. Would it mean that we can't fix streets? Question mark. Would it mean that we're defunding the police? Question mark. I would not be on board with that. I mean, this tired ass conversation about defunding the police has to go. You know what I'm saying? Stop grandstanding, Bessie Sunderman. And yeah, whatever, if the city's not willing to come with the money, then you shouldn't even be having these conversations. Because whatever ideas come up are gonna take money. Whatever ideas come from these community conversations is going to take money to implement, period. That means quit, it means taking from this, from that. It's just what it is. And again, for me, defund the police didn't mean you're gonna pull the budget. What it meant was, let's look at the budgets and think of it outside of the box. Let's think of it differently. And everybody knows that the funding for the police in Cincinnati is a huge part of the budget. And there's only so much money that they have to divvy up. And if you don't look at what you're spending now and maybe think of it creatively, then how much leg room or leeway you're really gonna have? So again, 10 people showed up, I think, because I think Cincinnati knows that Bessie Sunderman is disingenuous. Like that's how I read that. Like most people know, it's like, man, she don't give a damn. She's just doing this because she want to be elected. And so why show up for, some kind of circus like that, right? Let her have that, right? That's the way I look at it, but I could be wrong. Good morning to you. Clarence writes, I'm not sure what he's saying. Darlene, okay, you can hear me now. Great. Sister Iris writes, good morning, great people. Peopler, good morning to you. I thought that was Young Jock, really? Graston writes, fund the police, hashtag alt middle. Okay. Thank you so much. Great to be here. Great to be heard. Everybody can hear me now. What's up, Heaven's Angel? What? Heaven's Angel? Damn. We got angels in here now? Damn, I like that. Does anyone know if we are heavily invested in the People's Corner project? When you say we, do you mean black people? I know that Mortar is. I know that Mortar and at least one or two of their founders is heavily invested. Um, I think they are behind or created the group that put together the 5 Points Alley project. Um, I believe again that's the extent of my knowledge. I really can't tell you. I would hope so. I would hope so because depending on the nature of your business, that could be prime real estate over there on People's Corner. And then who doesn't want to go to People's Corner? Like the name itself makes you want to go to it. People's Corner. Where you going? People's Corner. Where was you at? People's Corner. It's the People's Corner. So I can see people doing some dope shit. Like I said, man, there's so many things I like about Cincinnati. And I like the energy and this creativity that I see from so many good people. Man, we got a lot of good actors that are doing a lot of good things for the city. Shout out to all of them without shouting them out individually. I hope it continues. What I would like to see is just that we spread the love around and everybody can eat. Everybody's feeling good. Everybody's thriving. The last good times is when more people had more. Jenny writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Anthony writes, she's LGBTQ. By she, you talking about Raven Saunders? Yeah, no problem. Hey, be who you are. You know, will we ever have the black equivalent of Latinx? Like Latinx is everybody of a certain descent, no matter what the tie that binds them is their shared history and culture, not their sexual preference. We need something like that in the black community. Or do we? I mean, I'm with it, man. It's something positive. I'm with it. Let's do it. Let me see. Tabitha Rice, thank you, son. TNT Rice, drink it. You talking about my son's drink he brought me? Yeah. He's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. That's my dude right there. He was playing basketball, getting his skills together. I'm teaching him his Euro step. He didn't look too bad. What's up, Nate and the Choppers? Good morning to all the Biden sexuals in the chop shop. Word on the street is he still hasn't done shit for your votes. You sold out to give him. Bunky, I hear you, man. Man, damn, Bunky, you been here with this shit again, man. I mean, do you, bro? And I appreciate what you bring to the table. I really do. But can I just say, like, what option did black people really have? Are you telling me that Trump would have been better? Medium, short, long term? I mean, if Trump was still in office, I would things be any different? That's a fair question. Would black folks be better with Trump in office? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. And Bunky, I got to say this again, man. Listen, every 4 years, we have to make a decision about the president. And as grown people, you already know. I'm about to tell you something that grown people already know. As grown people, what's that? I don't need that. I don't need that. No, sir. We're not gonna do that. Thank you, baby. You taking advantage of daddy now. Uh-huh. He think I won't pop off because y'all watching. He just don't know. I was raised old school. I put on a show. You'll get the show he's looking for. But let me get back to Bunky real quick, man. I mean, every 4 years, Bunky, we gotta make a decision. Whether we like the top 2, 3, 4, whatever choices, 2 choices it might be, we have to make a decision about president. Okay. We got to make a decision. Last year, we had to make a decision. You had independent candidates. Nobody can remember their names. And then you had Biden and you had Trump. Are you telling me that it would have been smarter for black folks to vote for Donald Trump, Bunky? Is that what you're saying? I don't believe so. No, I don't want that. Take it with you. Come get this. Come get this. You hear my voice and change now. I'm in daddy mode. Parents know what I'm talking about. You can shift real quick. You know what I'm saying? One moment you smiling, next moment you snarling. Let me see. So, Bunky, what you want us to do, man? You said Biden sexuals. That's interesting. Hasn't done for your vote and sold out to give him. I don't feel like people sold out to vote for Biden. I think that black people are very smart and intelligent voters when we voting. We know who has our best interest. We know what's the better road to take. I still believe that Biden was a better road to take than Trump for so many reasons. We ain't even talking about COVID. We ain't even talking about that. So I hear you, Bunky, but what would have been a better choice in 2020? That's what I want to know from you, Bunky. What would have been a better choice in 2020? What would you have had black voters do? Please tell us that. I like to know. TNT writes, I haven't watched any. Jenny writes, I don't even know where to catch them. Always on my phone or tablet. Right about the Olympics. Good morning to you, Anthony. He writes, watch some here and there, right? I ain't watched none of it. So I watched ping pong, and that was clips. Like, we live in a 3-second world. I don't have time to watch no whole match. Who got time for that? Who? Tabitha writes, who in the world is on our team? Where is the help and concern for black people? Brent writes, good morning, Nathan Chopper, checking in from Dallas, Texas. Good morning to you, Brent. Good morning to you. Maurice writes, glorious resurrection. Did y'all hear about the 74% of coronavirus in Provincetown, Massachusetts are people that are vaccinated? No, I didn't hear about that. Didn't hear about that, man. I did hear some shit over the weekend from CNN, and they were talking about how the viral load is super huge. Like, listen, let's be real here. Here we go again. So the governor, I hate to be the one to keep talking about this vaccination shit, but if that's the role I'm going to play, then that's the role I'm going to play, okay? If that's what God wants me to do, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and say this to you. You do you. I've already made my decision. I'll say it again. I am fully vaccinated. My wife is fully vaccinated. She had to get vaccinated for work, and I should have got vaccinated because I'm a cardiac patient. I could get COVID and die. For real. The governor of Ohio says that he's not going to go for mandates. He's going to go for incentives. Incentives, unless it's a lot of money, are not going to work. It's not going to work. They're trying to give federal workers $100 to get the vaccine. That's not enough money. Now, if you made it you're gonna have to put like another zero on there. Now you talking about $1,000? Okay, I can get down with that. Now we talking. $100 ain't gonna do it. It ain't gonna do it. It's not gonna do it. So I guess they're gonna come up with some more like lotteries and things like that in the state of Ohio because they don't want to mandate people putting on a mask again and staying at home and all this kind of stuff. Listen, we already know how this story ends. It ends like this. We're going to go back to what we were doing a year ago if we don't get smart. Simple as that. Darlene writes, just a little of the men and women diving in track and field. It's the time scheduling for me. I keep missing what I want to see. Yeah, my question was, are you watching the Olympics? I ain't watching none of it. I ain't watching no basketball. I ain't watching no track and field. I don't know, man. Sha'Carri Richardson, I was looking forward to her going against the Jamaicans. That's what I was looking forward to. When I didn't get that, I was like, this Simone Biles, she was out the floor routine and all that kind of stuff. I was like, And the men's Olympic basketball, I don't really care about that. I don't really care about them going against Croatia. I'm sorry. Oh, they're going against Brazil. I mean, that don't really do anything for me. I mean, that's just me though. Good morning to you. Tabitha writes, there are some serious rumors going around about P. Diddy. Really what? I ain't heard them. Huh. Is that right? Zakia's in the house. She writes, good morning. Good to see you, Zakia. Whoever approves the music out there is also responsible for releasing these negative songs. All right. Iris writes, about 10 people showed up at Bessie Sunderman. That's because most of Cincinnati knows she's full of ish. They know. They know Bessie Sunderman don't really care. I'm looking for immediate solutions. I bet you are. You're looking for immediate solutions so you can try to implement them before the election. And then you can run out there and say, this is what I did. This is what I did. Vote for me. I wouldn't vote for Bessie Sunderman to be Bessie Sunderman. She couldn't get my vote at this point to do a damn thing. Nothing. Nothing. But that's just me. Clarence writes, Bessie Sunderman was that mean looking, very uninvited, fake ass worried face, right? She think we can't see through her. We see straight through you, sis. You don't care. I don't think she really cares. I think it's just grandstanding before the election. We 4 months out. We'll see. I can't think of one good reason why she should be back on city council, but that typically means it should probably be reelected to city council, and it is what it is. Tabitha writes, we need to stay up to date about the next election. Voter education matters. Absolutely. Bessie Sonderman was at the meeting looking very uninviting with that fake ass worry face. Deshona writes, good morning, Nathan, and all have a great day. Same to you. If we're to end gun violence, we have to eliminate poverty and improve mental health. Iris writes, immediate solution means more police to Bessie Sonderman. Thank you. That's exactly where I was going. Like, why do we keep letting council people get away with that? We need more police. Oh, more police, more police. Man, if more police had any kind of connection to a reduction in crime, then Cincinnati would see the lowest numbers that it's ever seen before. But that's not happening because more police don't mean a damn thing. They ain't stopping nothing. We got as many, we're at the top of the list in terms of having police in Cincinnati. We got more police than we've ever had before, and we got more crime. We got ShotSpotter, more police, the internet, and crime still spiking. That's because this city fails to make a long-term commitment to solving the root problems. That's because Cincinnati loves to be philanthropic with Black children and turn their backs on their aunties, on their uncles, their mothers and fathers. That's what it comes down to. That's just my opinion about it. See, we got Black Russia on the line. Last time we talked about this, we slightly disagreed. But let's see what's on his mind this morning. Hey, good morning to you, brother. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade. I agree with you. It was just a slight disagreement. Just slightly.
Morning. What's on your mind?
Hey, good morning to you. Beautiful morning in a drag queen city, as you call it. It is. I'm going out to walk, get my exercise on here momentarily.
Oh, I love to hear it, man. Health is wealth.
Yeah.
Love to hear it.
Well, since I hit 40, I've kind of been trying to walk a little more. I don't want to die too early. Not before it's my time anyway. But hey, you were mentioning something along the lines that Cincinnati got as many police as it's ever had.
Yeah.
That's actually not true based on the numbers. We're actually down. I think we're down like 2 to 3 police recruit classes according to the numbers.
Is that right?
Now they got a recruit class coming down. I think that's online right now, but I think they still got one more they got planned, and then they're probably going to have a third one coming in the pipeline. I just wanted to make sure that people had proper information.
So how many police officers are we down, by your estimation?
My understanding is about 2 to 3 classes because they had retirements too.
So when you say classes, how many officers does that translate to?
The classes vary. I don't want to give a hard number because it depends upon the number of people that they pick up for the class. I think one class, they could range. I hate to even put a number on it because I don't have that number. What I have read is that I think we got about 100 or so police officers amongst the rank and file, based on retirements, people leaving, things like that, which has resulted in us being about 2 police classes behind in terms of being at the right level of policing for our particular city. That's what the government's preparing. That's what the city is saying. And so
what's
based
the
upon
right
the budget,
level of policing?
Well, you probably have to ask the experts at the city administration what the proper numbers are. Because I don't have that in front of me. I don't work for the city, but I'm just reading the reports of what they're putting out. They're down about 100 police officers, and they need more classes. They got 2 coming, probably going to have a third one coming. I say that to say that police are necessary in these cases. Look, let's be honest. You can't prevent. This is not. What's the movie I always use to reference? Not Vanilla Sky, but the other Tom Cruise. What's the name of that? Minority Report. That's what it was. Where they could predict what was going to happen before it's going to happen. We're not there yet. You know what I'm saying? So with ShotSpotter, yeah, ShotSpotter is designed to catch the people who are shooting. It's not designed to stop the shooting. It's designed to catch the perpetrator.
Right.
Right? That's what police is designed to do, catch the perpetrators. They're not designed necessarily to prevent anything. Now, I heard somebody say that, if we solve poverty,
So more police
we'll
would make
solve
a
the
difference.
crimes. More police will make a difference in the terms of solving the crimes that are going on, and I think police presence does deter. So with that being the case, yeah, more police can actually lead to reduced amount of crime if positioned properly. But like I said, we're down 100 police officers, so we're already low in numbers, and so that's going to be harder to do. It's going to be harder to solve crimes. It's going to be harder to catch perpetrators. I mean, people have to have the right idea about police.
So Cincinnati has been dealing with the highest gun violence levels in our history, and you think that if we had 100 more police officers, that would have an impact on that?
Absolutely, of course it would. And I'll tell you another thing that will have a good impact on it too is getting competent judges. That's another issue. We got judges down at the courthouse letting people out with gun charges, and then they go back out and reoffend while they on bond.
Really?
That's been going on. Oh, absolutely. I've heard several situations about that happening. And then check it out. We done had like 2 shootings and 1 homicide over in Price Hill. I think over the weekend. And look, you said it yourself. Nobody cares more about crime than the people who live in the neighborhoods, right?
Right.
Well, look, Bessie Sunderman lives in Price Hill, if I'm not mistaken. So to paint her as she don't really care about crime, that's some BS, bro. Because it's not like just these people are council people; they live in the city too, and she lives in Price Hill.
Right.
And the shootings are going on in Price Hill, and so she's out here talking about it. But you're calling it fake outrage. Now, I can't put them two together because last I checked, Sunderman's still a citizen, although she's elected, and she lives in a neighborhood where crime is going on.
Why are you caping so much for this woman?
Well, look, I'm not necessarily caping for her. I'm just calling a spade a spade. I'm calling
you got the whole Superman outfit on this morning, cape and everything. Why are you caping so hard for Bessie Sunderman?
Why you tearing that woman down?
I'm not tearing her down.
I'm keeping it real. Absolutely are. I mean, you answering the question with a question. I'm just saying, why are you tearing that woman down?
I'm not tearing her down. I'm just keeping it real.
Well, keeping it real from your perspective.
From my perspective,
I guess keeping it real is relative. But the reality is, Bessie Sunderman is the only person out here talking about crime specifically on a regular basis.
No,
I don't see Jan Michelle doing that. I don't see these Democrats. I don't see Greg Landsman talking about it. I don't see any of these endorsed Democrats out here talking about gun violence.
Oh, here you go again. It's that Democrat-Republican thing. Oh, that's the reason why you're keeping so hard for. I knew there was a reason why. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I get it. I forgot for a second.
I'm calling a spade a spade.
No, you're not.
You tell me what Jan Michelle said nothing about gun violence. Greg Landsman, nothing. You hating on Bessie Sunderman for talking about a legit problem that's plaguing the black community and calling it fake outrage. You sir, you are guilty of fake outrage yourself with Bessie Sunderman. Absolutely.
I don't think Bessie Sunderman really cares. I think she's just doing it just for the cameras and lights.
She lives in the neighborhood. She lives in Price Hill.
I'm sure she does.
Going on.
Yeah, I'm sure she does. I still don't think she gives a damn. I think it's all. I think it's all this effort is just to try to convince people that she should be reelected. That's just my personal opinion. It's based upon what I see and hear from her.
So what do you see from her and hear from her that make you think that she's lying about her about her concern?
Dumb shit.
Like what? I mean, come on, bro. Give me something.
I mean, she wrote an op-ed piece last year in which instead of talking about the particulars and the root issues, she just took that opportunity to talk about how she is against the defund the police community. Even in this article that I read from WVXU from Thursday, she took the opportunity to talk about how she's against defund the police. I'm wondering, did she really care about addressing the violence, or is it really just another way for her to get out in front of people and let people know that she supports the police? That's what I'm getting from her. I think it's disingenuous. If you really care about this, you're not just looking for immediate, and you already know there are no immediate solutions. It's all medium to long-term solutions for gun violence issue in Cincinnati. Everybody knows that.
Well,
I feel like she takes this opportunity to get in the public eye to show everybody that I support the police. But that's not the same as really being a serious actor to try to deal with these issues that's plaguing the community. Okay, that's what I see from her.
Well, I would submit that the actors, the real actors, are the police department. And in terms of this fund the police issue, you can't deny the fact that it's a legitimate issue here in the city of Cincinnati. We just had a whole issue 3 situation about that, where people try to
The
mass
issue's
affordable
over.
housing.
That's what I'm saying. It's over.
But no,
And she's still
no,
talking
it's not
about it.
over. No,
It
it's
is
not.
over.
No, it's not over.
It's not on the ballot. It didn't even make it to the ballot.
The hell if it ain't. The hell if
It
it ain't.
didn't make
What
it
you
to the
mean?
ballot, Black Russia. Remember, think about this.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the idea of putting defunding the police on the ballot in Cincinnati.
That was issue 3. That was issue 3. Mass is affordable housing.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't issue 3. Sorry, you're missing.
Yes,
you're
it was.
misremembering. That's the way that you interpreted issue 3. That's the way that people tried to swing it. But the issue itself never made it to the ballot because the people behind it didn't get enough signatures. It's not on the ballot. But yet you got people like Bessie Sunderman still arguing against it because she needs to have an enemy to legitimize herself. You know, the whole defund the community, defund the police thing is the enemy that she's now crusading against. And to me, that's disingenuous. Right? Here you are crusading against a non-issue, and you're standing on the podium talking about a real issue. That's why I say she's full of bullshit, in my opinion. That's just me, though.
I hear you.
You asked me, so you put it all out on me. I told you.
Hey, no. Hey, bro, no. Hey, you gave me what I wanted. That's cool. What I'm saying to you, though, is for you to just be like, defund the police is no longer an issue.
It's no longer an issue. It's not on the ballot.
Yes, it is. With these candidates is on the ballot. Who supports the police? Who want to fund the police? Who wanted to fund the police? That is absolutely on the ballot with these candidates.
You can support them. See, now you really get into the you're muddying the water. Just because you are open to the idea of reimagining how we fund the police does not mean that you're against the police, sir. So you're doing that Bessie Sunderman thing. That's what she's doing.
No.
That's what she's doing.
That's just what
I would not. I'm absolutely against defunding the police. Well, then you ain't a serious actor in this because you won't think about all issues.
So what you're saying is you're not a serious actor if you don't consider defunding the police.
What I'm saying is you're not a serious actor if you're not a serious actor. And I don't think that Bessie Sunderman is a serious actor in this. I think it's just all politics for her.
But here's the hypocrisy of what you're saying, though, because so many times you talk about how people who live in the community are the people who care the most about crime in their community. And here we have Bessie Sunderman, a councilwoman who lives in Price Hill, who lives there, where there was just a murder and another shooting over the weekend in her neighborhood, okay, where she lives at, and you say she don't care. That's what I'm saying. This is you playing the Democrat Republican politics, because you say nothing about Dan Michelle, Greg Lansing, and these Democrats being absolutely silent. They said nothing about this gun violence. And here we got this woman standing up.
That's not true.
That is absolutely true. You show me some articles, bro. Google something. Send me a link, something. Put something up, because I haven't seen it or heard it. I've only seen Bessie Sunderman dealing with this issue in a vocal manner.
She got you fooled,
and she
man.
lives in the neighborhood where
I hate gullible black men. You are so gullible. She got you fooled. And just for clarification, the public safety forum that we were talking about that was on Thursday was not in Price Hill. That was last week or 2 weeks ago. The one that happened on Thursday was in the OTR.
Right, but that was actually in East Westwood. It wasn't even in Price. It was in East Westwood on that side of town. The second one was in downtown. You're right. I didn't say that wasn't.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that she's still not talking about it.
I'm just saying.
I was very clear about I'm very clear about what the locations are at.
So it sounds like Bessie Sunderman has your vote.
Yeah, she's going to get one of my votes. I got 9 to give. She's going to get one. I'm not voting for the Democratic ticket.
Oh, I know.
I mean, there's nobody on that ticket. Well, yeah, right. Well, there's nobody on the ticket we're voting for. Nobody. Not one. Not one.
You're welcome to your opinion, man.
I know. You
should vote the way you think.
It's all up.
But I just feel like, man, take the cape off for Bessie Sunderman. I think you need to look at her with a more objective lens. And, that's it, man. I mean, that's how you feel about it. You should vote your conscience.
I will. You should take your own advice and look at Bessie Sunderman with an objective lens.
Yeah, I have been.
No, you have. It's been a slanted view because you want to paint her as somebody who does not care about the violence going on in her own neighborhood, bro. When you say on this platform every day that people who live in the neighborhood are the people who care the most about the violence in their neighborhood, and here you are criticizing her for taking a stand on it, whatever her perspective might be, she's talking about it. You don't have to agree with her perspective, but there's not one Democrat that I've seen that's on this ticket that the Democrats push through with lobbyists and corporate execs talking about the gun violence. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, just hold yourself to the same standard when you criticize the best son of it.
I'll try
Be
my
objective,
best.
bro.
I'll try my
all right,
best.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing too.
Yeah.
Now, this busing issue, this extra busing issue that's going on with Cincinnati Public. Like, here's what I don't understand. There's only and I'm gonna do this like spades, a two when possible, right? There's only like 2 schools, possibly 3, that are like maybe the most magnet level schools that you would send your kids to that would even require crosstown service. Like, I'll give you an example. What's the difference if I'm in a neighborhood and I can walk to Withrow, but instead I'm choosing to catch the extra bus way across town to the west side of Western Hills when both schools are failing? Like, that to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And taxpayers, look,
What's the scenario again?
The scenario is this. I'll make it very clear, okay? There's only a few, 2 to 3, public schools that really and truly could be considered magnet schools that would attract kids from all over the city. But for the most part, the Withrows, the Tab, the Woolwards, the Western Hills, the Aikens, they all got Fs, bro. So I'm trying to understand why, if I'm a parent and I got a kid in College Hill and Aikens down the street with an F, why am I really concerned about extra busing to get my kids over to Western Hills where they got an F2? Like, it just seems to me they should be working on making these high schools a little bit more palatable and a little more performing, get them up on a performing level so that people don't have to choose the bus across town to go to another fellow school when they got one up the street from them. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I think it's 2 different conversations there. I think you've introduced a new conversation, but it's 2 separate issues. But you out? All right, see y'all later. I think the real issue is the timing of it. Here we are 3 weeks before school, and parents are getting notified that this service will not be there. But you're right. I think even beyond that, even before this issue came up with SORTA, people are concerned that we don't have enough quality options, for our children. So I agree with you, but I think it's a separate issue.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. That's a separate issue, but do you see how they tie together though? Like, for in terms of the busing situation, like, I heard the teacher union president, Julia Sellers, she's out here talking about we need extra service back. We need extra service back because these kids want to be able to pick the high school they want to go to.
Who said this now?
Okay, cool. Julie Sellers.
Okay.
She's saying the kids, need to go and be able to choose which hospital they want to go to, wherever it's at across town, and we need extra bus service to do it.
Right.
I would just submit that, all right, I'll name the schools. Walnut Hills. That's a magnet school for sure. Everybody from all over the city go there. Performing arts is downtown. Okay. Now, for me, my personal opinion, those are the only 2 public high schools that are even worth consideration if you're going to do any type of extra bus service.
You might be right.
You do just like,
but it's a separate issue.
I mean, but it ties into the busing. So now I'm gonna tie it in. So now we got all the others. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say that now we got all the other public high schools, and they're all across town, right? And so, like, for me, when school down the street got an F, all right, the school the kids catching the extra bus going to got an F. Why pay for that extra service to bus kids from F schools to F schools or from neighborhoods to F schools when they got an F school up the street? That's how it plays, because it's about money too. You're gonna have to pay extra money to get this extra service. It's a money thing too, along with the educational piece. Like, we shouldn't be sending kids all across town to go to failing ass schools. Is my point.
I get you.
You know,
But what I'm saying is we're 3 weeks away. Those decisions have already been made. I mean, the students have already those decisions have already been made as to where students are going to be going to school for the 2021-2022 school year. So I hear you, but the issue with the sort of thing to me is just the timing of it. Um, here we are less than 2-3 weeks away from school starting. Parents are going to have to scramble, not even realizing this is going to be a real issue. So I
well,
get you
yeah,
though.
what makes
See, the real issue is we
well,
need better schools across the board in CPS.
I
Period.
agree. Yeah, we agree on that 100%. You know what I'm saying? Because I think when you get all these specialized programs like TAP, informational technology, and I don't know what the other some of these schools like Hughes, STEM, like it sounds good. It sounds like they got a program, but they got F's though. You know, but regardless of that, this busing system is set up in every other metropolitan city in the state of Ohio, right? Like so, with Cincinnati always being the last to do stuff, Dayton, Columbus, Cleveland, Akron, Toledo, these public school districts already have the same sort of setup where they got kids on public buses going to their schools. I'm just trying to figure out what makes Cincinnati so unique. It's not like we got overall better school systems than these, better high schools than these other municipalities. And to me, it's a learning thing too. These kids need to learn how to catch the bus anyway. Like that's a life skill. So I mean, for me, it's like we spend extra money on bus service for extra service as a taxpayer, okay? And we want to bus kids all around town to failing ass schools. I'm just like, and it sounds like. Well, let me ask you this: do you think that administrator who's now on leave, do you think that administrator has the authority to do what he or she did? I don't know the gender of it.
I was told it was a black man. That's what I was told. It was a black male.
Okay, I didn't know that. Good. It's a black. So this is a black man making this deal, right? You're going to tell somebody? Well, again, do you think he wasn't empowered to make that decision by Cincinnati Public School?
Do I think what now?
Do you think he was not empowered to sit at the table with Sorta and negotiate that deal?
Well, I mean, and let me let you move.
What do you think?
Let you go on this. Let me answer your question, and let me open the phone lines. Black Rush, I appreciate you, man.
Sure thing.
Well, yes and no. I mean, he was in a position to negotiate with Sorta, obviously, so that's what he did. But then it appears, and again, it appears that he might have been working outside of the knowledge of the people he reports to, like the board and the administration. Like I said, I don't know if this brother's being scapegoated or not. I don't know. Scapegoating is a real thing. Happens all in Cincinnati and around the world. Everybody loves a fall guy. When it's a black man, even better. So I don't know. I do know that Cincinnati.com, they did some freedom of information request, and they found some information and some emails. And it appears that, this brother was doing his thing. Okay. We'll see what CPS does with that now. Hey, listen, let's take a word, just a minute to get a word in from today's sponsor.
The words for today are attract better relationships. It takes 60 seconds for the universe, through the invisible law of attraction, to be fully activated in your life. God's invisible law of attraction is available to you today because you are just 60 seconds away from attracting better relationships. Take the next 60 seconds and attract better relationships by telling a relationship story for 60 seconds, 3 times a day for 21 days. Why 21 days? Because that's how long it takes to change your life. Now say this relationship story out loud 3 times a day. It is my divine and human right to attract new, wonderful, and dynamic relationships today. I am attracting and allowing new and exciting people in my life. I am a blessing to all of my family and my friends. For a free ebook, visit renewcommunitychurch.org.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Appreciate you, Black Russia, for the conversation. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's get back into it. Listen, Wakanda Forever, we kicked it off this morning. Is that what she was doing? I think Wakanda Forever is across your chest, right? This sister won a silver medal in shot putting. That's big time. Don't look down on that. That's not an easy sport. And she made a statement for the whole world about the LGBTQ community, Black folks, African Americans in particular, and also Black mental health. And I want to make sure we underscore it this morning. Good morning to you. And listen, if you want to share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. Hope you had a great weekend. My weekend was tremendous and got it in every day. Got a chance to parlay with one of the choppers and his lovely wife. It was great having a chance to just talk with them on Friday. I had a good time. My Saturday was equally as good, and so was my Sunday. Life is good. Life is good. Great to be with you. 513-873-7134. And, listen, I get it. You're a city council member. You're going to have a series of conversations about public safety and things like that. But if you ain't coming with no dollar bills, it doesn't really matter. And again, I'm very suspect. I'm suspect of all of these meetings because I feel like we got meeting fatigue. Meeting fatigue. We've been meeting in Cincinnati about gun violence for 2 decades. And it's just so politicized. And this whole defund the police thing is just another way to politicize it. So we never really get to the root of the issue. Cincinnati needs to make long-term commitments and investments to deal with it. Matter of fact, it's not just me. Residents are tired of meetings about gun violence. They want action. It ain't just me. It's all of Cincinnati. Soon as something happens, they want to have a meeting. They want to have a committee. We tired of meetings and committees. People want action. That's it. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134 if you want to share your thoughts. And you can always just sit back and chill. I'll do the heavy lifting. You ain't got to do a damn thing. You can just parlay with the chop shop, kick back, and just partake in some interesting conversation this morning. Good morning to you. Let me go to the chat this morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see. Greg writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Greg. Jerome writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Check out the t-shirt. I make effed up look good is what it reads. Because I'm just as effed up as everybody else is. But see, the difference between me is I can just admit it. The difference between me and a lot of people is I can just 100% admit how effed up I am. A lot of folks out here acting like you 100% sane. You're not. Quit. I can just admit it. I'm effed up, but I try to do my best. That's it. Let me go to the phones here. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
It's been a time. Herschel Daniels.
Hey, what's up, Herschel? Welcome.
Today is the United Nations is voting to give a permanent form each year for all Black folks, 1.6 billion people. So we got the votes. 106 nations for it. The United States committed on Sunday that they will vote for it today. So let's talk about Hamilton County. So you're talking about this police issue. July 4th, we have the shooting. All right. A week later, we have the meeting at Lynch's church. Jan Michelle shows up. Landsman shows up. No other city council member showed up. So don't talk to me about the other 7 because they were all notified that we were going to create, a working product. All right. So when you talk about the issue, so when she holds a meeting, when city council persons hold a meeting, so what are the policy that they're following? The President of the United States met here in 2015. President Obama had a task force, the 21st Century Policing Task Force. There was only 3 of us who spoke at that task force from the community. Iris was one, I was another one, and Ellis was one. And then we only had Christina Brown, who sat on the committee because she headed a chapter of the Black Lives Matter at that time. So now let's fast forward to President Biden. So he just instituted a police task force. And by the way, Cincinnati under the Trump administration was a partner in the Department of Justice on policing. I don't see where she's bringing up where's the results that comes from all that. Because you got to set a baseline. Now, my TO, actually wrote the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy Manual, Colonel Charles Britton, for Betty Montgomery. So I know a little bit about it, And so within the context of we talking about policing, You could say that Jan Rochelle is doing her homework, because I said, at that meeting, here, read the 21st Century Policing Task Force and the recommendations. And so use that as a baseline, bring it forward to 2021. So I see where we're going to have to do that ourselves. This is a thing from the people, not the failed Black agenda. Okay, this is the new 21st century agenda under the Biden using Executive Order 13985. All right, and so when you read that, okay, you'll know that next week when they release this and what's happening, that Hamilton County and Cincinnati in particular, as the biggest city, can be on the lead of that. So what we're going to do, we're going to facilitate weekly meetings online to develop policy over August in line with what's happening in the United Nations. I mean, that's why we've been busy doing that. So the international is going to happen today. Let's bring all that stuff home to Hamilton County. And so we'll do that. We'll facilitate it. I'll send it to you. I'll be giving you weekly reports if you want it on what's happening. But that's what's happening right now. Plenty of money out there. What's the solution that we're going to hold 9 candidates to? And then we only need to vote for those 9 candidates. For me, it's the thing that I asked Woods over there in the Charter Committee. You run into Republicans as an endorsement. Do they support Donald Trump's big lie? That's the first thing I'm asking any Republican. First place, do you support the big lie? Where you stand on January 6th? Then we can get into anything else. So you got 2 Republicans. He wouldn't tell me which one, okay, that says that they don't support the big lie. He wouldn't tell me which one will. So it's a real interesting that you got these people who call themselves Democrats running as part of Charter when they're running with Republicans to replace, Democrats. Okay, so, that's just my opinion.
All right. Herschel, thanks for the call. I like the way he thinks. I'm with that. So when I do my interviews, I want to know too, do you support the big lie? That'll be very interesting. I was out over the weekend and he reminded me of a conversation that we had with a brother. I'm just going to put him out there. His name was John Coleman. Remember the conversation we had with John Coleman? It was a brother that was running against Tyrone Yates, running as a Republican judge. And let's just say the interview didn't go too well for him. And, I just remember during the interview thinking these are very simple, easy questions. It should be a breeze. I can't remember everything I asked, but I do remember at one point I asked the brother, you run against Tyrone Yates. You're a Black man running against this Black judge who has a lot of respect in the community. Why should I vote for you? Where is Tyrone Yates lacking? And he was like, he ain't lacking at all. And I remember thinking to myself afterward, like, then why are you running? But, I appreciate, and that was not a good interview for John Coleman, but I appreciate him just being honest about it, because he could have thrown the brother under the bus and just made up some ish, but he did what he had to do. It is what it is. But yeah, I only said to say that sometimes some of the simplest questions, man, can seemingly trip people up when you're doing interviews. It's just amazing to me, but it is what it is. But I think that's a fair question. If you're running, even for council, if you're running as a Republican, I want to know, are you one of these common sense Republicans, or are you one of these Trump lie about everything, no matter what he says, even if he's obviously wrong Republicans? I think it makes a difference because it shows the level of realness that you have. So I will ask that question, Herschel. I will ask that question of all Republican candidates. I want to know. Makes sense to me, among other things. So appreciate the call, Herschel. And yes, please feel free to keep us informed. I can't do everything. Part of what makes this show informative is not just me, but is you. It's the people that help me keep it up to date. So I appreciate it. Good morning, Kamara. Good to see you, as always. Good to see you. Bunky writes, Durkin's voting is a business transaction. We should vote as such, not like big children. Bunky, I might have missed it, man. He writes, Black people vote against our own best interests. Are you talking about in the election against Biden and Trump? No, they didn't. Trump was not in Black folks' best interest at all. If he was, tell me what Trump did for Black people during the first 4 years in any way, level, shape, or form. I'm waiting. I love to hear it. Jerome writes, good morning, Nathan Choppers. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Tell me what he did. Oh, man, maybe this brother can tell me what he did. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52, the most hated man in the chop shop. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Good morning, Drop Squad. Drop Squad 52.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Ivey. Just want to give you a little update out here on the West Coast.
Can I ask a question? Where does the 52 come from? What's the significance of 52 again?
I was 52 years old when I started Drop Squad, because Drop Squad is from the Spike Lee joint.
Yeah.
The movie. Yeah.
Right.
And I told you, well, let me tell you again. I was refereeing at the time, and I've always been political, outspoken, and all that stuff. So when I was refereeing, I couldn't say the stuff in my regular name. So I started a Twitter account, and I just called it Drop Squad, because I've always taken heat for being a black, not Democrat. And if you know what the movie was about,
I do.
That's what the movie was about. So I just called myself Drop Squad. And on Twitter, when you typing in the names that you want, Drop Squad was already taken. So they said, you got to pick something else. So I just added 52 to the end of it.
Okay, now I understand. The irony of it is that the brother in the Drop Squad was, let's say he was disconnected from the black community. And you've now taken that name.
But Mr. Ivey, if you look back at the movie was in 1994.
Was that Eric LaSalle? Is that who played?
Yeah, Eric LaSalle was the lead character. Yeah, he was the one. He was one of many. It was other people that got dropped. A black city councilman got dropped. A teacher got dropped. A college professor got dropped. These were all the people like me, like Black Russia, like Fane Rothstein, like Terrence. I mean, like who else? Like Bunky Bionic. Anybody who went against the current political agenda, which is always Democrat with black folks, they caught hell, because they felt that if these black folks would shut up, then the Democrats would win every election, and they would be able to pass every single piece of legislation that they promised black folks in order for them to vote for them. But we all know that's not how government works. We are not it's not a monarchy. We have three separate co-equal branches of government. But the Democrat politicians, they will not educate their voters of how the system works. Key example is what happened in Washington over the weekend with the Democrats led by Cori Bush of Missouri, and who else? The bald head lady who cut all her hair off. Well, not cut it off, but she stopped wearing wigs. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't say that, but I'm getting old, Mr. Ivey. And
all that weed.
Ayanna Presley. I'm sorry, Miss Presley. Yes, Ayanna Presley. They were all out on the Capitol steps while their colleagues, other Democrats, were on vacation for the rest of the month. And obviously, we have the senators who are still in session trying to pass this so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill. But the perfect example was Cori Bush and Ayanna Presley out there sleeping on the steps as if that's going to get the eviction moratorium money passed out. It doesn't work like that. When you send a local issue to Washington, D.C., then Washington, D.C. gets the money, sends it back to the locality. The localities aren't equipped to handle a federal function. And that's why we have this problem. So again, Mr. Ivey, we're not even, we're only 6 months into the president's term. And we're already having these conversations about, black people got screwed again. Black people need to just hold back their vote. They got to prove something to the Democrats, that they got to come through. When they tell us they're going to do something, they got to do it. But Mr. Ivey, I've been around for a while, and it's the same thing over and over and over. So people can continue to say voices like mine and other voices who are not in line, in lockstep with the Democrat agenda.
That's not it.
I mean,
brother,
it's going to happen, Mr. Ivey.
That's not it.
That is it.
That's not it.
It's always been,
it has not,
it's always been a black divide.
That is not why people criticize you. That has nothing to do with it. There's a lot of black people out there that's not in lockstep with the Democrat Party, that criticize the Democrat Party, but people perceive them as still being credible because of the things that come out of their mouth. And that's different with you, because
Name one black Republican that you brought on your show.
I'm not saying he's a black Republican. I'm just saying there are black commentators out there that criticize the Democrat and the Republican Party. Black people still embrace them because of what comes out of their mouth.
Mr. Ivey.
I'm just saying, come on,
Mr. Ivey, like you always ask me. You always ask me to send you a link. I'm asking you, name the people that you keep talking about.
It's a lot of people, man. I mean, Tariq Nasheed.
Well, then you should be able to name one.
Tariq Nasheed.
Name one locally. Who?
Locally, you're in California. I'm in Ohio. Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed gets a lot of support from black people, and he is constantly critiquing the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, both of the parties. But because of the way what comes out of his mouth, black people don't look at him cross. They still appreciate him. That's different from you, man, because
you picked Tariq Nasheed.
You told me to say one name, so I came in with the name at the top of the list.
But we're talking about.
But we're talking about. I brought
clearly.
This up.
No.
We're
Tariq
talking
Nasheed,
about black people. No, you called in and said, "Drop."
He's not political.
He is political. What are you talking about? He started his own party.
He's not. He's got. Have you seen his latest movie?
I haven't seen the latest movie, but that's beside the point. The point is that you just called in. It is beside the point.
He's trying to build a museum out here in Los Angeles.
He's trying to do a lot of different things. Right. But you just called in and said that black people that don't support the Democrat Party get criticized. And I'm just here to tell you there's a lot of black people that don't support the Democrat Party. They criticize both parties, but black people still embrace them because of what comes out of their mouth. That's different from you, Drop. The difference between you and is that you are 100% on board with the Republican Party no matter what. That's the difference between you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all right.
You're black, not Democrat.
Mr. Ivey, I can't.
But you're not black, not partisan. See, if you were black, not partisan, black people, I think, would perceive you differently. But you were so far up Trump's anus that we thought we lost you, bro.
See? But see, that's the problem, Mr. Ivey. I am one voice, okay? You can say whatever you want to say about me to form an opinion of me in the minds of other people who are listening. But like I said, the voices are out there. They've always been there. But in this day and age of social media, there are more and more people of color who do not agree with the Democrat agenda.
Yeah, now, but see, that's where you're going wrong. There's a lot of people of color that don't like either of the major two parties. That's where you're different.
That ain't what I said.
I know that's not what you said, but that's where I'm interpreting it. That's what I'm trying to help you.
What I'm saying, sir.
But I'm trying to help you.
Listen to what I say.
I'm trying to help you.
I don't need your help. Okay? I'm not disabled. I am not I don't have special needs where I need you to help me.
You do have special needs. I do need to help you. I do.
Because, my special need is that I don't agree with the Democrat agenda. That's it.
Your special need is that...
If I went along to get along...
No, that's not true.
Like some people...
That's not true.
Mr. Ivey, think about this, sir. Okay? Think about it. You remember when you were the announcer for the Cincinnati Kings semi-pro basketball.
Had a lot of fun with that, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. How many people were in the gym at the time? Do you have an idea?
I don't have any idea. I'm bad at counting numbers like that.
Okay, but
a lot of people.
But it was so few people that you can hear yourself. You didn't even need to be on the PA system.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
It was that crowded.
Yeah, it was a nice crowd.
Okay. Do you think everybody in there was listening to you?
Probably not. It was probably watching the game.
Okay. But one person may have heard everything you said, right?
Yeah.
Paying attention. Great. Right. If that one person told the other people that weren't listening that Nathan Ivey is an idiot, he don't know what the hell he's talking about, what's your recourse? What's your recourse?
What's your point is the better question. What's your point?
My point is, Mr. Ivey, when people like me speak, we're not looking for someone to respond.
Yes, you are.
No, we're not. See, there you go again. I'm Mr. Ivey. What do I always tell you? Reach one, teach one.
Reach one.
Me before we. I shine, we shine. The strongest chain is only as strong as the weakest link. Okay? So again, Mr. Ivey, I heard somebody, I think the man was named Mr. Herschel or something.
Herschel Daniels, yeah.
He said, Herschel Daniels, great call. He said that you should ask any Republican who wants to assist a Democrat on any agenda item, you should ask them first about January 6th and the big lie.
Right.
Okay. So if you pose those two questions to me, if I was one of those Republicans and I want to get something done that's part of my agenda to work with the Democrats, right? Guess what I'm going to say, Mr. Ivey?
What?
I'm going to say, yes, Trump incited January 6th, and no, I don't believe in the big lie. Let's get busy.
There it is. That's all you got to say.
But see, you know the truth, Mr. Ivey. They're going to come up with something else because it's just they do not want the Republican voice to be heard by a lot of that 80 to 90% of people. Like I gave you the analogy, who's in the gym and they're not listening. They're afraid that one voice like mine is going to turn around and influence those other people who aren't paying attention. That's why TNT from the Cincinnati NAACP said that there's always somebody that's going to fall for the okie doke. But why would you be concerned about a few voices in a crowd as large as the 80 to 90% of black people who vote Democrat?
I don't know.
The reason is because she knows as well as I do that 80 to 90%, they don't know what the hell is going on.
You know what
They're just going along. They're just going along to get along.
Can I share
and
something
you know
with you,
it, Mr. Ivey. That's what you call you said that about your own city.
Can I share something with you something with you, brother? Can I share something with you? I think that you have convinced yourself that the reaction.
I'm 61. Remember, I'll be 61. So
I think you have convinced yourself that the reaction and the pushback that you get from, let's say, the chop shop and other people was because you support the Republican. You're not a Democrat. That's not what it is. It's because you have you appear to have a blind allegiance for the Republican Party above all else. And people can see through. People can see through. People can see through what you're trying to do or what you appear to be trying to do, which is to turn black people off of the Democrat Party and turn them on to the Republican Party. That's the way you come across sometime, brother. I'm just trying to share with you. I know you don't need my help. I'm just trying to share with you.
Before I go, let's have a little flashback. Do you remember when I first came on your show, Mr.
Yes.
Okay. There were people that actually thought I was white.
I thought you were white.
After me talking, okay?
It took a minute. You got a different voice.
I'm not, Mr. Ivey, I'm not college educated, okay?
You don't have to be.
I don't have a vast vocabulary.
That's kind of racist what you just said. It's kind of racist. But no, that had nothing to do with it. It's kind of racist.
Okay, so
you implying
that, but anyway.
Did you sound less intelligent, therefore you sound black? That wasn't
I ain't implying nothing.
Okay.
So Mr. Ivey, in the beginning, people thought I was white, right? So my question to you before I go, my question is, what was it that I said that convinced them that I was black?
It was me. I mean, when you showed me the picture, when I saw the picture you from your referee days, I was like, oh, this is a brother. Because for the longest, I didn't know. It was a combination of things, Drop. It was a combination of things.
Right. But see, Mr. Ivey, I was so not upset, but I was just so astounded that I actually sent you pictures of me and my grandson and my daughter at a Christmas thing.
You did.
Right? Because I was like, how the hell are these black people who are listening to another black man talk about politics and just say he white?
Don't take it personally.
It's because, Mr. Ivey, some black people have been so brainwashed to think that any opposing view, any pushback of the Democrat agenda, they got to be white. They're against us. But again, Mr. Ivey,
that's the way you're interpreting.
But again,
okay, I get it.
But again, I can't. You can sit here and interpret everything about me, but I can't.
No,
but anyway,
I'm just saying I can get it, man. You've created this whole mythology around yourself.
I know.
That's fine, brother.
But Mr. Ivey, I love your show. I'm retired. I listen to your show every morning.
Thank you.
And it's people who tune into your show to not necessarily wait and see, wait to hear what I have to say.
Yeah.
But when I do speak, I command attention. Okay. And you know it's a fact, Mr. Ivey. Look what I've done recently since Obama's been in office. I've recruited Donetta. Okay, I'm helping the overseer organization. Yeah, Donita. Yeah, you know I do that on purpose. All due respect to Donita.
I have to correct you on purpose.
You know I do. You know, you play along when you correct me, when you know I'm just doing it for dramatic purposes and to get people to talk about how I pronounce the name. I could have 4 or 5 people in the chat room telling me I'm illiterate, putting out what you
Drop. I gotta make a move, man. I appreciate
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ivey. Peace out, brother. Y'all be good.
Yeah, that's Drop checking in. Always great to hear from him. But I want the brother to know that this is just my perception. People aren't against you because you're pro-Republican or you're anti-Democrat. People are not against you because you're anti-Democrat. It's because you seem to be so pro-Republican that you can't see both sides of the arguments and the issues. And that's how it comes across. It's a whole lot of black people out there that don't get with either of the major parties. They still get great respect from the community because of the way they carry themselves and the way they appear to process things and what they say. I just want to say that. So Drop thinks people are against him because he's not a Democrat. That ain't true. There's a lot of black people that vote Democrat and they still got a problem with the Democrat Party. Lots of them. But let's go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, this is Maeve.
Hey, May.
I've been listening to the guy that was on that trying to persuade people from a party.
Yeah.
He said he's 60. Did he know black people been in both parties? They've been in the Republican Party, been in the Democratic Party. But the perfect example to look at Colin Powell. He's still a Republican, but he's not like Terrence Owens and the guy that just hung up. See, people put their interest in movie stars and famous people, push them out the way, and look at what you're voting for. You don't have to belong to the party because you got the Independent Party, which is still Republican, and all these different name changing, but they're still the same people. Just like the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, they work together to make sure things are not done. But people got sense enough to know if there's a reason that they want to go vote. And now 98% of the black people vote for the Republicans. And what percentage of them, these people that sound like them, the Republicans, what percentage of them just won't vote for nobody except that party? Colin Powell had sense enough to step out and vote for who he wanted to. So I'm sorry, William. So if you look at those type of people, and then you have these little sluggers coming around telling people they need to leave a party and what they need to do, ask them why are they still in the party, and what are they fighting for? And I don't see no people trying to stop people from going. They right to vote. They trying to stop them at every poll, doing all of these different things. If the party that he's following was so much good and good for him, because he might not even have no place to go vote. Listening to the people that he's following. So tell him to let Camus go and use his mind. Stop letting people think for him. Think for himself. So don't talk about the party. Because if you look at the party look more like him than the Republican Party do. So when they start putting people like they used to do before they switched over to the Dixiecrats, those are Democrats that's Republicans today, if he didn't know it. Tell him to educate himself first before he try to put other people down. And people vote the way they want to and who they want to vote for. But don't try to persuade other people to go your way. Let them make a choice and vote for who they want to. And with that, Mr. Ivey, I have to go, and I'll be listening.
Thank you so much, man. Damn. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to tell the man he don't want to listen. He got this whole mythology surrounding him that people are against him because he don't support the Democrat Party. That ain't it, brother. It's the way that you come across. It's like May just said, right now you got the Republican Party that all over across the nation is trying to legally take your vote, make it more difficult primarily for black people to vote because black people came out and voted for Joe Biden. He ain't got nothing to say about it. So that's what the issue is. People are looking at what you're saying. They're like, there's no balance. Where's the balance there? I think that's just my perception of it. I don't have to be right. I can't speak for other people. That's just the way I perceive it. Like, people looking at you like, well, bro, how you gonna rep these people and these people don't rep for you? Matter of fact, these people are currently trying to take votes away from people that look just like you. And you ain't got nothing to say about it. I think that's what the real issue is, Drop Squad 52. And thank you for that reminder. As soon as you said it, it reminded me like, oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. But I get it, man. I get it. Just because black people vote for the Democrat Party does not mean they're 100% satisfied, but that's just the way the system is set up. It is what it is. Glenn Rice, I think he calls in wearing a David Mann albino fro. I read that in the last few months that, speaking about the Cincinnati mayoral race, which I don't know, it don't seem like that race is getting enough attention to me. But again, we're 4 months out. As we get closer to November, it's going to get more and more heated. You'll start seeing public forums. All the local media channels will be doing public forums and things like that. So you'll probably get a lot more attention given to it. But I read that David Mann is being crushed by Avtab Puraval in terms of raising money. And it makes sense. It makes sense. It really does. Both are Democrats. David Mann's got a long-term political career here. But I just wonder if the way that people perceive him is that not really about his age, but the quality of his thoughts and what he believes in. Again, he shot himself in the foot. When he walked out that meeting, he's never going to live that down. If I was Avtab Puraval, I would do an ad campaign showing him walking out, because literally they caught him on the news, stand up at the from the panel, and then walk away and walk behind the curtains. If I was Avtab Puraval, you better believe we would do a negative ad using that imagery right there to remind people that David Mann walked out. Just a bad look, super bad look. For whatever reason, he should have stayed, take that heat, let people yell, let them curse. They're not going to put their hands on you. Just take that heat, man, because people are upset. Remember that? We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Sarah writes, if Warner Hills High School can have an excellent rating, why are many of the other schools in the district failing? It's a very good question that people have been asking for a long time. And to this point, they have, again, I believe the CPS is trying to do what they can do. They ain't figured it out yet. You know what I'm saying? How does that tie into busing? Academics and transportation? Yeah, Black Russian was two different conversations. I hear what he's saying. I'm with you. We need better schools across the board. I'm with you. But the busing issue is an immediate concern. My wife and I spent time talking about it over the weekend, as it relates to this. So JD writes, that's why Laura Mitchell wanted to strengthen neighborhood schools. Absolutely. Absolutely. To Kamara, choppers are able to see through the BS. Unfortunately, a fool is born every minute, and there is always someone who will fall for it, i.e. drop. Is that right? Herschel writes 95% graduate rate as a goal by 2030. Kamara writes, sort of says Metro buses will no longer specifically provide direct service for students in St. Public High School. Yes, we've been talking about it since last week, sis. We know. I even had Mike Morosky on, and I'm still trying to get somebody on from Sorta, because this is sort of a big, well, it's not sort of, this is a big deal. And people want to have some answers. I do know this Sorta is going to have a big community meeting coming up sometime. I think it's on the 9th, I think it is. It's either the 4th, it's sometime in the next 10 days. Okay. Let's see. Tabitha Rice, I agree. School kids should go to school in their own neighborhood, and schools are going to have to step up or not step out of our choices. Tracy writes, Coleraine does not have buses for high school. Not all schools have buses. Absolutely. Again, when you're a parent, you got to make it happen, Captain. We are responsible for our children, nobody else. It is and potentially a major thing to deal with 3 weeks before school. And 3 weeks before school. And I was told that, what's his name? Loren Jackson, or the CPS transportation director, is a black male. That's what I was told. I don't know if it's true or not. But he's since been, I guess, suspended with pay. So he gets to stay home now and get paid. And we'll have to see what happens. Brent Rice, a soft middle is a Sunderman surrogate clown or monkey. Oh, okay. See, I don't want to call nobody a monkey. Herschel writes, yes, he is. He operated this way under 2 superintendents. Again, that's what it appears. That's what it appears. Tabitha writes, I don't like that schools like Walnut Hills and Performing Arts are in neighborhoods, but you got to be special to get in. The other kids got to be bused to a school with an F in another neighborhood. Walnut Hills, you have to test in. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it either. I'm not happy with it, but you got to play the game and play within the rules that have already been pre-established, unfortunately. All public schools need to come from an F to an A. I agree with you 100%. But it won't just be CPS. It'll be CPS, the community, and parents. It's not just them. TNT writes, and the weather was perfect. Over the weekend, it was. Friday night, it was great. Oh, my God, great time. We ain't even do nothing but just sit and dance. We ain't even dance. We just talked and chilled, met some new people. Like I said, I ran into Sean and his lovely wife. Had a great time talking with them. Just enjoyed the night sky. And then went up to the 5 Points Alley. Lauren Elise was on the stage with her band. It was super dope. She sounds great. She's very talented. It was a really good vibe. It's a real good vibe in Cincinnati. We need more of that in Cincinnati, not less. Brandy writes, good morning. Herschel writes, generate a policy that we hold the elected to. Right about that. Kamar writes, interestingly enough, I find interesting that many politicians think that by helping the Black communities means addressing violence and poverty. Every other group receives a better result. Kev on the cell writes, yes, so this virus is placed under control and doesn't continue to mutate. It really is that simple. Let the virus continue to exist in large numbers. It will continue to mutate and it will continue to kill. I saw something on CNN that scared the hell out of me. And basically, they had some medical professionals on this panel. And one of them was talking about just how infectious the Delta variant it is. And she was like, man, you can have one person in a crowd of people that can infect 8 people. And then each of those 8 people can infect 8 people, right? That's what the average, infection spread is by people who, have it and are out and about. And then when I look at the news, man, you got these sporting events coming back. You got concerts coming out, people outdoors, they having a good time. When I was indoors, I had the mask on. When I was outdoors, we took the mask off. And it's like a social thing. It really is becoming like a social thing where people don't want to put the mask on because they looked upon like, what's wrong with this person? Like, that looks a little strange. I don't give a damn about none of that, man. I ain't trying to die so I can look good in public. There is absolutely nothing one can do about gun violence but pray that you are not around when it goes down. There are too many guns in the hands of people who are willing to use them for any reason. There are elements of truth in that. There's elements of truth in that, not in this society. In our society where we solve our issues, listen, America teaches us that there are some problems that have to be solved with violence. It's in our culture. It's woven into the fabric of who we are. We're not going to get away from that. It is what it is. And so people on the street level have that same ethos. There are some problems that people are just going to deal with in a violent way. You're right about that. But I still think long-term investments in some of the root issues is what the city needs to be. Hola, beautiful Black people and the others too. Hey, what's up, Jerica? Good to see you. Jason Kennedy's in the house. What's up, brother? He writes, good morning, choppers. Let us keep growing the new Cincinnati mug. Mindset, unity, growth. Okay. Mindset, unity, growth. Okay. Oh, absolutely, man. Listen, if you have a community, if you are running a nonprofit or you have a community event, I'm more than willing to work with you and to promote your event. And what I like to do is to choose at least one nonprofit per month to use this platform, no charge, to promote what you're doing. This is for nonprofits and community-oriented kinds of things. So you can hit me with direct message and I will review it and reach out to you. What's the use of having a platform if you're not going to use it for the betterment of the community? That's what it's all about, right? Absolutely. Graston writes, council members running the city has nothing to do with Trump or January 6th. You're right about that. You're right. But the question speaks to their mindset. The question speaks to their mindset. So if you're a Republican, I do the same thing with Democrats if there's a similar situation going on. But I want to know, are you real or do you play political games? That's what the crux of that question would be. So let's say we talk with Bessie Sunderman and Liz Keating and whoever else. I'm going to ask them about Trump's big lie because I want to see what kind of people they are. I want to see, are they going to lie or are they going to dance for Trump? Because if they can't tell the truth about the January 6th, then I can't trust you to be real on city council. That's how I would look at it. So you're right. It's not a question that directly relates to policy in Cincinnati and things that are under their direct supervision, purview, however you want to look at it. But it speaks to the individual mindset of that person. And that's why I think it's a valid question. I've asked similar questions. I remember I asked questions about Tracy Hunter. Of all the people, because I wanted to know, and especially the Republicans, but I wanted to know if you are running under the Republican banner, what are your real thoughts about what the Republican Party did to Tracy Hunter? Now, if you're a member of city council, one has nothing to do with the other. But again, I asked that question because I wanted to know what kind of person you are as an individual. And we found out. I remember, what was his name? Pastor was I'm like, man, if you don't get the hell out of here, we don't want to hear that. That's the way the question is designed to do. It's a real simple question. Yes or no? But people start to dance and ding 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 ding. It's hilarious. And that's the whole point of it. Good morning to you. Do you support the big lie? Exactly. We need to know. Opportunity zones could have been used for our benefit. Somebody's getting deep. Graston writes, now I'm hearing Landsman is going to grandstand this morning on gun violence in front of City Hall. Yes, as a matter of fact, shout out to Greg. I don't think he's grandstanding. No, I'm not saying I'm super close with Greg because I'm not, but I know enough of him to know this is just my genuine thoughts about him. That I think that he's somebody that cares. That's just me. As a matter of fact, them on the show. We roll out this morning. He can talk in particular about what he's going to be doing. See here. This is what the press release. Let me read this. Councilman Landsman to introduce legislation supporting community-led violence reduction plans and the reestablishment of a safe and clean fund. Research shows that the most effective way to achieve long-lasting crime reduction is to follow the lead of the communities most impacted, as they have the most nuanced and genuine understanding of what is needed to create change. And again, community leaders and residents express to councilman. So the press conference is going to be today at 10 a.m. Afterward, it's going to be at 10 a.m., so I'm probably going to miss it. They can ask Greg Landsman some questions. If we miss him today, then perhaps we can meet him tomorrow on the show. Let me see. Next week, Councilman Landsman will introduce the first piece. Matter of fact, while I'm reading it, I can put this on the screen for you. I think that would be much better, right? And then you can perhaps read along, maybe, if you can see it. Hold on here. Let me pull this up. There it is. You can't see that at all, can you? You can't read that shit. That's too far away. You can't read that. But let me get back to me. Read it real quick so we know what's going on. This motion aims to establish the city's role in supporting community-led efforts to reduce violence, a starting investment of $1 million to reestablish a safe and clean fund for place-based community projects, a commitment to bolster coordination and partnerships and providing relevant training for neighborhoods. Let me see. Landsman will be joined by local activists currently working in community-led plans and leaders on issues of gun violence reduction. So that's today coming up at 10 a.m. if you're interested. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Nate. Kev on the cell.
Kev on the cell. Good morning, brother. Welcome.
So start with the Olympics. Got to watch a little bit of the basketball. I don't actually know what the outcome was though, because I ended up tuning out. Boy, you talk about running and gunning, man. Woo-wee. I'm like, you guys play any fundamental basketball at all? And I don't know, man. I actually don't know what the outcome was of the game either. But they were playing Czechoslovakia. It was interesting. Haven't watched any of the track or field. Haven't watched some of the gymnastics. And people are amazing, man. I watched trampoline for the first time. That's amazing.
Trampoline?
That was some trampoline, bro. Oh, my God. They were like 30 feet in the air, man, doing flips and nose and back nose and triple nose. And it was really cool. I was like,
wow, I didn't know that was an Olympic sport.
I didn't either. it blew my mind. It was real cool. Mr. Drop, you've been listening this long, man, and you have not heard up to this point that Mr. Winburn is a Republican and we love him. How about that? He has been, he is, he actually does work. He's not necessarily on the side of craziness. So if it's crazy, he'll either say, I ain't saying nothing about that, or he'll say, no, I'm not with the craziness. So no, we don't necessarily just support people who are quote unquote Democrats. We support people who are sentient, you know what I'm saying, that have, are using their brains. It's really frustrating to me, man, that a lot of the things that are going on right now have nothing to do with party. Absolutely nothing to do with party, Nate. It doesn't have anything to do with the political party. It has everything to do with your stance. I'm listening to people who are supporting positions against their own. That don't make sense, man. I don't care who you are. It is what it is. If you tell me that I am going to take your voting rights, I'm going to tell you we ain't cool. We ain't friends, bro. We're not buddies. If you tell me that you're trying to hurt me and trying to disenfranchise my people, we're not cool. And so all of this other stuff that's in the way has nothing to do with the fact that you got people out here talking about, well, we're just going to vote against, we're going to show the Democrats by putting fools in office. That don't make sense, man. I don't care who you are, man. If you tell me that the neighbor up the street, my neighbor, wants to hurt me, we ain't cool. I don't want to boil a cup of sugar. Don't come to my house to boil no sugar from me. We are not cool. And that's what I keep hearing people say, like, oh, yeah, they want to take away your vote, and they're doing it right in front of your face. But they still love you. They want you to be part of the team. Two things can't be true at the same time. That's not true. A lie can't be the same as the truth, bro. You can't sit here and tell me that you want to take power from me and at the same time tell me that you support me. What? That don't make sense. And then the other part to that is, why can't you just beat me on the facts? If you're so worried about getting me to vote for you, why can't you just have some agenda that makes sense for me? Why would you need to disenfranchise me from my vote? Because your agenda is for you. I before me and all, I before we and all of that, man. It's I before E, man. That other stuff you're talking about is not in anybody's book anywhere. That rule that you keep trying to, yeah, the me before we. It's I before E, except as the C and uses A use as in neighbor and way. That's the only rule that exists that's like that. That garbage that you saying, Drop, is BS. Because we need to coalesce our power more, not less. The reason why everybody else is doing better than us is because they are all joined together like, yeah, we're going to make sure that we do well while we tell them we only thinking about me. But they're already doing well. They're already giving each other inheritances, and they're already passing along their family fortunes and businesses. We don't have that luxury. So once we get to that point, then we can start talking about, oh, I'm just going for self. But we ain't got to that point yet. And this is not just in America. This is, and I keep saying it throughout the diaspora, we are not black in a vacuum. If we coalesce the power of blackness across all the entire spectrum, we could not be stopped. But we are disenfranchised in every country, virtually. I won't say every, because that would be a mistake. That would be a slippery slope, right? Virtually every country in the world, we have been disenfranchised, and it's us doing it to ourselves. You want to get together, you want to do something, put together a platform. You want to get together, you keep waiting on these people to give us a voting right, and you got a right to vote. Use the rights you have. Then they're not talking about passing a law. They're not trying to make it permanent, right? They're going to make it so that you got to discuss this again as to whether or not you have the right to vote. Come on, man. We can't be so gullible. But again, it's going to end the same way as it always does, man. Team up, go out. No matter what they do, we can get each other to the polls. We can make sure that folks are registered. We can make sure that even if they need ID cards, I keep telling everybody, I got 3 people's cards, man. I'll help you get your documentation together, whatever you need. I got 3 people's cards. I'll pay for it. I don't know how much the ID copy's $20. So what? $60? I'm out 60. I can handle $60 for sure. You know what I'm saying? If everybody does that for 3 people, man, we'll get it covered. We absolutely will. And we'll make sure that everybody that has the right to and wants to vote will vote. And they can't do nothing about it, no matter what they try to put in place in order to stop us. They had us counting bubbles and soap, big brother. You hear me? Bro, they had us counting bubbles and soap, and we still found a way to vote. So we definitely can get this done. It's 2021. I'm gonna get off the soapbox, man. But yeah, I kind of tuned into the Olympics. I didn't think I was going to because of the whole, I can't say her name right, Shakari thing. Shakari, thank you. I apologize. And I didn't think I was going to, but I'm kind of glad that I did. And Shakari apparently is doing well. So, props to everybody. Let's keep it moving. Be blessed, Nate.
All right, brother. Thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's great. I'm about to end the show. Thank you so much. I reached to him. Hey, what's up, Mo Poetry? All right, great. We can get together for sure. Yeah, I appreciate you so much. Appreciate the call. Kev on the Cell is a new African-American. He's got that new African-American glow about him. Everything is possible. I love it. We need it. Another word from our sponsor, and then I'll come right back.
The words for today are attract more money. It takes 60 seconds for the universe, through the invisible law of attraction, to be fully activated in your life. God's invisible law of attraction is available to you because you are just 60 seconds away from attracting more money. Take the next 60 seconds and attract more money in your life by telling a financial story for 60 seconds, 3 times a day for 21 days. Why 21 days? Because that's how long it takes to change your life. Now say this financial story out loud 3 times a day. Today, I accept my divine and human right to have more than enough money to be a financial blessing to self, family, and others. I will use my financial abundance today to bless so many people in this universe. Money is my friend. I share my money with my friends. For a free ebook, visit renewcommunitychurch.org.
Hey, Nathan, it's Greg Landsman. How are you? Good. Good. Your summer's good? It's been great. You'll appreciate this. I dropped my 11-year-old off yesterday. The first ever sleepover camp, and I'm really struggling with him. Yeah. Yeah. 11, she's 11, but it's the first time she's been out of the house for a week. Well, my son, we should, but my son, he didn't go to camp, so we got him. Thank God, because I'm not sure we could do it with, just the two of us yet. Just the two of us yet, Yeah. It really is, man. Who's got my baby? They sent a picture this morning, and I'm like, all right, I felt a little bit better, but I didn't think I was going to sleep last night, man. And how old's little Buddha now? She's got to be like 16? Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-mm.
We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know what was going
Yeah.
on. We had no idea.
Yeah. It's tough, man.
It's very tough. Hold on, my mic was off. You could hear me, but the people couldn't hear me for a second. So again, folks, we got Greg Landsman, City Councilmember Greg Landsman with us. So Greg, there's a big press conference at 10 a.m. I know you don't have a lot of time, so I appreciate you making some time for us. What's the nature of the press conference, and what do we need to know? What's going on?
Yeah, so we're announcing today, we submitted last week, a piece of legislation that would empower community safety plans. So you have all these folks all over the city that are have been or starting to work on their own safety plans, looking at their data, the problem areas to tackle this issue of crime and violence, but in particular gun violence, which is, you got younger people, 16, 17-year-olds shooting at each other. And, in East Westwood, there was, this awful shooting that involved an 8-year-old who's still in the hospital fighting for his life. And the community has, really come together around some amazing leaders in East Westwood, and they are, working through a plan that they need help with. So, what this legislation would do is provide training to communities around SARA, which is the problem solving, a piece of the collaborative that Iris and others have really tried to lift up, which is, hey, use data, use problem solving, work together, but get that training out to neighborhoods. And then when their plan is done, everyone's plan is going to be different. City Hall needs to be structured in a way that allows them to submit those plans and have those plans get funded and get the support they need in terms of city services and support from, community partners. And so this calls for that structure, but also the reestablishment of the Safe and Clean Fund so that there's funding for many of the pieces of the plan, whether it's, lighting, cleanup efforts, security cameras. Every community is going to be different, and every plan is going to be different. But there should be some support at the end where City Hall really steps up and says, here, you did the hard work. Now let us help you make your neighborhood safer.
Okay. So did we have this fund in the past, and now you're saying we need to bring it back? How does this work exactly? Will people be able to apply for these funds? Is that how it'll work?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes and yes. So we had the fund back in, I think, 2003, 2004. There were two problems with it. I mean, it did a lot of great work in terms of funding, the things that the data say really make a big difference. And, whether it's cleaning up a problem property, removing bushes, in a particular area, adding a lot of street lighting, cameras, those kinds of things. Not big ticket items in terms of expense, but they make a big difference in terms of saying, hey, this isn't going to be an area where, you can do all kinds of bad stuff. This is an area for our kids and our families. So, go somewhere else. The fund did some great work, but it was one-time funding from the Anthem settlement in 2003, 2004, I think. And it didn't always get to the neighborhoods that need it the most. And so, my hope is that we can get this up and running, sustain it in the budget year after year, but also do it in partnership with community and the managers advisory group, so that the folks who get the funding are the neighborhoods who need it the most, the East Westwoods and the Price Hills and the Avondales that really have urgency around their gun violence issues, as opposed to other neighborhoods that may have some issues but they're not as urgent.
Okay, I understand. So you from what I read in the press conference, it's going to be you, but along with some other people who are active on this issue in the community. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's really mostly like I'll say a few words about what we're proposing and then hand off the mic to them, because they, from East Westwood to Price Hill, Bond Hill, and others, who've been working on this for a long time. It's really their stories and their both frustration, with what hasn't materialized in terms of support from City Hall, but also what they want to see. They're building these plans. They need help.
And now it's $1 million. Is that correct?
Yeah, what I'm asking for is $500,000 from the carryover budget. So every year when the budget is done, they reconcile the books, and they always typically find, that they have some extra dollars. Some of that, gets put away for certain things, and some of that is for the council and the mayor to invest in things that we didn't get to in the budget. So this would say, hey, to the administration, put this in the carryover budget, and then work with private sector partners, businesses, and foundations to match what we put in dollar for dollar. So it's, what would be $1 million fund that would get us not just started, but really investing in these plans very quickly.
All right. Well, Greg, we'll be paying attention, man. I appreciate you. I have an idea I want to shoot past you that you might be interested in for the city, but I'll hit you up on a direct message or by email.
Okay. Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it. That's Greg Landsman checking in. And, I had read through the press conference, but it was great to get him to call in and share his thoughts about it directly. I appreciate it. Sorry about the miming. Somebody said, Nate, you miming again? You know me. What it is my soundboard is off to the left. And so I'm looking here, and I don't always see that I've muted myself. I need to just push it over so it's right in front of me. That's on me, not anybody else. But again, thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully better than ever. We'll see. That's usually how it works. Have an excellent rest of your day. It's a great start of the entire week. Remember our motto: stay focused, stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand. Back again like flu season, I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving, don't give a I don't care. Did the by my lonesome, no wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run, all I really want is my share. Get on my God, I might tell them it's nothing. In the discussion, for them feelings I throw on my